and she told me what she thinks that the US is becoming increasingly unreliable.
I think that they are misrepresenting what is happening, and more than anything, they signed a memorandum of understanding which was to bring a ceasefire and a truce and move towards a negotiated peace. And the Americans continue to renege on that, and basically proving themselves to be incredibly unreliable, unfortunately.
And what appears to have gone wrong here? Because on one hand, you've got Iran saying, well, actually, hang on a minute, we're the ones in charge when it comes to the Straits. And Donald Trump saying, no, it is the US which is in charge, and then going back and forth with his 20% tariff. But looking at the conditions around the International Maritime Organization, that line is quite blurred, isn't it?
Well, yes and no. So you have two things. You have, number one, you have the territorial waters, which, based on international law, effectively are split between Iran and Oman. So that's one aspect. So the U.S. has no right or role there anyway. Number two, you have the Memorandum of Understanding, Article 5, that was signed negotiated and signed by the United States, which very clearly in the text says that Iran will continue to control and determine passage through the Straits for a 60-day period, and then potentially invoke some tariffs in conjunction and in partnership with the Omanis. That's in black and white. That's in writing. I think the real problem is that there has been so little international support to undergird the MOU, to actually have monitoring of the implementation, to have technology to determine really whose ship is going where and so forth, to actually help implementation. We invest less in implementing the MOU than we do in the VAR system for the World Cup, frankly. That, I think, is one of the biggest gaps that we're facing.
Do you see a return to the table for any further discussions at all? I mean, just a few minutes ago, the US President Donald Trump was meeting with the Prime Minister of Iraq. Is this a way that we can see some form of progress being made through Iraq, for example?
The issue is that the alternative to a negotiated solution is more war and an incredible economic pain for the rest of the world. I mean, Iran itself is being targeted. The Americans have, been bombing ports and other civilian infrastructure the last few days. So Iran is bearing the brunt of the pain and the trauma, if you want, and Iranians are bearing that pain. But the rest of the world is also feeling it economically. And so, they have to go back to a negotiated solution. And the issue is that, we're dealing with an American president who is not known for keeping his promises and is known for, swaying from one end to the other, one end of the spectrum to the other on any given day. And as I say, what I'm missing in all of this is, where's the United Nations, where's the rest of the Security Council? This is their one job, to prevent interstate conflict. The UK, the French, the Chinese, the Russians, and the Americans as the P5 members, permanent 5 members, that, this is their one job. And they are completely absent, as is the Secretary General of the UN.
A lot of people have criticized the sort of advice that Donald Trump received, saying that he didn't get a good enough advice. One also wonders how much research and planning he did himself before making this move, particularly for the Middle East, in terms of his political, religious, social, economic aspects and history of that region before embarking on this war.
Well, again, that's a really good point, and it points to two things. One is that when he came into power with Elon Musk in charge of the Department of Government Efficiency, they actually fired many of their own experts across the State Department and other U.S. governmental institutions. Many people who had for years been observing, playing.
We're just going to step away from this and take you straight to the House.